All right, welcome back. Personal Health Care Reform Talk Show. Clint Fuquay, the health engineer with John Rinaldo, and the youngest guy you're ever going to meet. Quite literally, the youngest guy you're ever going to meet. Like, we're talking, he's 20. Which we're going to get into, like your TikTok and everything else, and,
Yes.
and Instagram and everything else. Because watching him, like, people think I'm an animal because of what I do online for some of my workouts. He's still sprinting and jumping, and you got a vertical of like 36 inches still, and it's incredible.
You also might want to mention that I'm 75 years old.
Yeah, he's 75. I was getting to that. He's jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Big jumper. So, but yeah, you're 75. We met almost a year ago.
Yes.
Now, thank you, Beth. Thank you, Beth Hoover, for introducing us. But yeah, you're a wealth of knowledge, inspiration, everything else. I know you're working on a book right now of like your past. You said 53 years in the industry.
That's right.
So he's been doing this longer than I've been alive, which is just barely longer. So we met then. I saw some of your setup of what you do at home and everything else. Of course, you've got gyms that you train out of because you're still doing what, 20 some hours.
Well, I still train 28 people a week, and I think one of the keys that we need to focus on is not retiring, staying working for as long as possible. If you enjoy it, I love going to work every day. I can't wait to get in there and help other people. So that's a big part of it.
Oh yeah, and you live it every day too.
Yes.
So I know, a lot of times everyone wants to talk to all the old people about what you need to do and everything else, and how to get healthy and stay healthy and take care of yourself into your 60s, 70s, 80s. One, do what this guy does. But the biggie is we have a lot of really old young people out there. I'm talking to you kids that are in your 20s and 30s, okay, and even your teens. Mostly because there's a lot of kids out there that are now dealing with the same issues that all the 60s and 70-year-olds are dealing with, which is you got diabetes, you got obesity. You get some neurodegenerative stuff. You get all kinds of other things going on that they're dealing with that they shouldn't be dealing with until they're in their 60s and 70s.
Right.
I know your big thing for you is you want to get your message out to them specifically, which is why you're on TikTok now.
That's right.
He's on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok, and I think the big thing I want to tell young people is, I think what you need to do is get more courage, get yourself in better shape, because the better shape you're in, the easier it is going to be to cope with the adversities of life. And let me tell you a little story, because I think stories are a good way to go. So this is a story about a mother tiger who is pregnant, but she's in a drought and there's no food around, and she's almost ready to have the baby. And all of a sudden she sees a herd of sheep, and she decides, okay, I'm going to get one of the sheep. She leaps out to get a sheep, and in doing so, she hits the ground and dies and has the baby tiger. Now, the sheep gather around, they're very maternal, and they start raising this tiger as though that tiger is a sheep. And so the tiger's eating grass and making the noises, ba, ba, ba. And he's a pretty mangy-looking tiger. All of a sudden, out of the forest comes this big male tiger. And all the sheep, of course, scatter and get out of the way quickly. And the baby tiger stands there. And the big tiger says, "What are you doing here with the sheep?" And all the little tiger could do is go, ba, ba, and dig on the grass. So the father grabs him by the scruff of the neck, takes him to a pond where he can see his reflection, and he says, "Look in there. You're a tiger like me." So for the first time in the baby tiger's life, he sees, I'm a tiger, not a sheep. He's shocked. So then the father tiger grabs him again by the scruff of the neck, takes him to his lair where he just killed an antelope, and he sticks his face in the bloody mess and says, "Eat." Little tiger spits it out and he goes, "None of that for me. I'm a vegetarian." And the big tiger goes, "No way, man." And he sticks his face in it again. And finally, the baby tiger eats his real food, the meat. And all of a sudden, the baby tiger lets out a roar. He realizes he's a baby tiger. And this is what I think is happening to young people. We're raising these young men like they're sheep, and they're not. They're tigers. And so we have to then motivate them to get out of their, wherever they're doing, playing games, wherever you're doing, and let's start by lifting some weights. So I would say to the parents out there, buy your son a weight set so he can get in there and start pumping some weight. And this is what we have to do with young men. You have to get out there and form a base of fitness and you have to get yourself a little bit pumped up so you have the energy and vitality to face life just as it is. What do
Yep.
you think of that story? Is it accurate?
Yes, very, very. That's almost like a takeoff of Lambert. If anybody ever watched Lambert back in the day with on Disney,
Yeah.
But yeah, very much. That's a lot of what's happened today. They're taking meat eaters. We're omnivores, by the way, and like grass only. No, you can't subsist on that. You can't even survive on it. And it's so. Luckily, most of the boys that I work with, their parents have them doing all the stuff they're supposed to be doing, which is great. But yeah, there's a lot of others out there that it's just they take them out of their maleness and saying everything that you do this male is bad, which is absolutely the wrong thing to do, because being male is a good thing because you're a protector and a provider. If you can't be a protector and a provider, then you have zero use.
Yes. Now, the next thing,
most of the boys feel that, and that's why they have gone into all the video games and everything else, because they feel like they have no use. So I'm just going to hide over here.
Well, I think one of the things is they're depressed, and a good definition of depression is the shrinking from life. So the life isn't on the screen. That's not the real life. The real life is out into the world, dealing with people. And so the first step I would say is get yourself stronger physically, lift weights, and really start a real program of fitness. The second thing I would say is find the subject you're interested in and start studying that everything you can. So instead of playing video games, now take out some books that you're interested in. Find the subject you're interested in and don't lose your enthusiasm for that. And see then if you could, neurologically, your brain, make more connections and learn things that you can teach people. So in the future, with AI, we have to be much more creative. We're going to need to use our whole brain, not only the left hemisphere of the brain, the logical part of the brain, the linear part of the brain, but we need the right hemisphere of the brain. So we need to do all kinds of things to stimulate brain growth. Of course, exercise does that. Cardiovascular exercise increases the blood flow to the brain. And so what we want to do is stimulate new brain growth all the time. So it used to be that we thought that brain neurons were just a certain number. Now we found out that we can grow, right? Called neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. So that's what I want to encourage people to do. First, start lifting weights, and then get yourself something you're very interested in and study, memorize it over and over again. We must encode the information in our brain. The third thing I like to talk to you about is they need to develop emotional intelligence, which is grit and determination and not giving up. I think a lot of times when people face adversity, it's difficult. The first thing they do is give up. So Carol Duckworth wrote this book called GRIT, Grit. And it's this idea of having the determination and the inner motivation and not giving up when things are difficult. And I think this is something we lack here, is we have a tendency to want to give up too easily and, just have the participation trophy and so on and so forth.
Life has been made really, really easy for a lot of people. So if there's any kind of resistance, people just would give up really, really quickly. And it's just like, okay, this just ain't going to happen. It's not going to work. Funny story. So Elon Musk, the reason he's gotten to where he is, especially SpaceX, stuff like that, is because of the amount of failures that he's had. And he's had a bunch of failures, okay? And the thing here is fail fast. Have a failure, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. Because eventually you fail upwards because you learn every time.
Beautiful.
And eventually you're up here.
That's the idea of having a vision for your life. You have to have a sense of where you're going and not letting anything stop you from getting there. And of course, failure is part of that. We have to find that part of ourselves that cannot give up and keep going. And so
you learn a lot through failure. You learn a whole lot through failure.
Yes. So first thing, get a weight set, get barbells and dumbbells, and start lifting weights. The second thing is find the subject you're interested in and learn as much as you can about that, make connections and so on. Third is find the grit and the determination not to give up in life, to keep going when things are difficult. And this applies to young people. It could apply to people who are going through a midlife crisis, a divorce, and their life is falling apart. And it could improve people who are older, 60, 70 years old, and maybe giving up on life. They don't see any future. Like I told you, I'm 75 years old. I think the future for me is unlimited. I can't wait to get up in the morning and get out there and work and talk to people. Make these kind of promotional things.
You still look like you're in, he looks like he's in his 40s. He moves like he's in his 20s. He's 75. So.
Yes. Well, the big thing here is I think this idea of sticking with something, I think we give up. So let me end this little interview with I like to tell a story. So here's another little story for young men especially. Okay, this comes from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Now, a lot of people aren't familiar with Nietzsche. He's a very interesting person. But Nietzsche speaks about the will to power. And the will to power is find your vision in life. And the will to power is not power over other people, but the power in yourself not to give up and to keep going on. So this is an important thing. So Nietzsche tells this very interesting story about young men. He said, young men are like camels. And the camel gets down on all four knees and says, place a load on me. Now, you must voluntarily get down on four knees and say, place a load on me. Now, if a young man is not willing to carry his load, it may be over right then and there. Okay. So let's say you decide, okay, I'm going to carry my load. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to stick with this even though it's tough. And you bend down and voluntarily put the load on yourself. Okay. Then the camel stands up with the load. And for about 10 years, the camel walks around with that load and really becomes tough. And at the end of 10 years of carrying the load, the camel then, if he does his work and he doesn't complain about his situation, will become a lion. Now, the purpose of the lion is to kill the dragon. What is the dragon? The dragon is a part of me that says everything revolves around me. I'm the most important thing in the world. This is what we call egocentricity. This idea that the world and my happiness is the most important thing. And once you kill that dragon, then you realize I'm here to serve God. I'm here to serve other people. I'm here to be of assistance. And that's the great motivation in life, is serving other people. And this is the hardest thing, I think, for all of us to grab hold of. Life's not about my happiness. Life, in my opinion, is about developing yourself fully for the benefit of others. And so if you can learn something important and share that knowledge with as many people as possible, then I think we'll have a much better society, and you, gentlemen, will have a much better life. So I would say to you, you're not sheep, you are tigers. Develop that lion in you, that masculine side of you. Don't be afraid of life. Have the courage to go forward and do something for yourself and for society.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Happiness is in the doing of things, not in the being. It's I'm happy. I've got my cigar and everything else. No, the happiness is whenever you're doing all the stuff and you look back on everything that you've done and helped everybody else accomplish and everything else. And that's, from a happiness standpoint, is more than going out buying a car, buying a house, all that stuff. Running a business at times. I bought a business. I got a gym. No, it's how many people have you served and helped while you've got that thing, right? Which is why we do all this stuff. But yeah, great stories.
Good.
Everything else. And you've got a book coming out.
I got a book coming out at the end of the year. It's a book about how I feel everyone needs to connect to God in their life. I think a lot of depression in life is people going through it alone. They don't have that energy and the vitality of God, and that's very important. And if someone wants to see me on TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, just under my name, John Ranello, John Ranello. So contact me if you want. I'd be happy to help you in any way that I can. And please get out there, lift some weights, and do something for yourself.
Yeah. I did a show with Jenny, our personal friend. Actually, you did a show with Jenny.
I did.
Watch that one. I'll have that linked on here as well. All his stuff, it's real. It's not AI. That's actually him running around and jumping and everything else. Seriously, you see his TikTok, his Instagram, you're gonna be beyond impressed. And for all the parents out there, you're gonna see him. You look at your kids, you're like, you're getting beat by him right now. Go do find your thing and go fulfill your destiny. Thanks for coming on today. We'll have you back on. We'll set up some jumping boxes. Do all kinds of
Sounds good
stuff. All right. Thank you. For everybody else, jump back. See us for the next show.
Thank you.